And so a lot of the people, and I think you'll find a lot of the members of the House and the Senate, the House in particular, because they've never dealt with this issue before. We've dealt with it 4 times, saying, well, wait a minute, if there's no if they're not going to be reducing the net amount of CO2 going in the air, and if the majority of the scientists now have come over to the other side, certainly it doesn't make sense to pass some kind of an aggressive measure that would be tax the middle income and poor people of this country. I think that's what's happening right now. I had the occasion of going over to the House and giving a little seminar over there because they'd never dealt with this issue before, and they were very shocked to find out that the science is mixed on this thing at best. So I don't think that the majority of people want to have to go home and run for re-election after they passed a massive tax increase that had the effect of increasing the net amount globally of CO2.
Senator, are you saying that the 2,500 scientists on the IPCC, a lot of them have turned?
Yeah, a lot of them have, but the scientists, what you've come out with on the IPCC is not scientists. Those are policymakers. Those are summary for policymakers. They've estimated that fewer than 50 scientists have agreed with that report. And I'm talking about the IPCC, or the United Nations is what it is, scientists. So we have a lot of scientists on our list. All you have to do is pull it up on my website, and you'll see many of them. I'll give you some examples. Claude Allegra from France was one of the strongest supporters of Al Gore some 10 years ago. And he's now clearly on this side. He says, well, the science, after looking at this, it's not the same. David Bellamy from UK. He was one of Gore's strongest supporters. Nir Shaviv from Israel. They were all on the other side, and I think 2 of those were on the IPCC, and they've come over. So there is a switch.
All right, green jobs. Yes, ma'am.
Senator, President Obama has said that the stimulus would yield 3.8 million new jobs, or would save 3.8 million new jobs. How many of those would be green?
I don't know what he's talking about. The stimulus was a sleight of hand that we never did see. If he's creating 3 million jobs, he's obviously, if they're green jobs, he's talking about trillions of dollars. So you have to do the math. You have to do the math on it. There's some. If you start creating puts more money in and speeds up the process of producing more nuclear plants that EPA says we must have, you can get things started and really move quickly on this path and get good jobs. That's one place where policy is holding up the creation of green jobs. Yes, sir.
Would you or do you think your party would be willing to accept a climate bill, a cap on carbon emissions that included, an availability to expand nuclear?
Cap on carbon. What's the purpose? You're trying to clean up the atmosphere, right? You're trying to do it efficiently. We need to pursue things that will slow the increase and ultimately reduce the amount of carbon. And I will support nuclear power. I will support electric batteries. I will support biofuels, all of the things, energy efficiencies. Let's find a strategy that will work. Right now, everybody is rushing to do it, but we are not smart enough to know what an arbitrary, politically imposed cap is going to cost in terms of taxes on working Americans and lost jobs. Let's deal with what we see is working and promote that. Okay, I'll take 2 more questions, and I haven't gone to this gentleman, and I'll come back to you.
Senator, what do you think is the motivation behind the Obama administration's push so vigorously at this time for green jobs?
Well, that was their campaign promise. I have raised questions about it. I don't believe people have thought it through. It sounds really neat to think that we're going to have wind-powered cars, except I don't see cars going down the road with lots of propellers on them. And when you cut through the superficial appeal, you see, wait a minute, are we going down the right path? We want to make sure that we go down the right path and not a very expensive, high-tax, job-killing path. Yes, ma'am.
Sort of piggybacks on that. Critics would say that a green job is better than no job.
I agree. Now, I agree with that. That's why I said Newton, Iowa. They've got 700 jobs that pay $13 an hour, and having lost their Maytag plant, that's good. But let's put more people to work fabricating the facilities for nuclear plants, running nuclear power. Let's get people focused on developing those industries, those skills, building those facilities, retrofitting existing homes, businesses, commercial office buildings to save energy. That's where we ought to be focusing our intent. And in many of those instances, they can be financed by the private sector. There are private sector things I will be outlining that actually can save energy and save the building owner, the tenant, or the homeowner money in the long run by making some investments in the short term. All right. Thank you very much.